The deck of the week this week is Ludevic and Kraum. And this deck won first place in the Commander Challenge a couple of weeks ago, and it's been posting some pretty good numbers ever since. It's a really interesting deck. It plays a bunch of really weird, kind of bad creatures. Um, but the point is that you want to use these bad creatures to get incremental damage and then use them to draw cards or loot cards, whatever, until you get to the big I win the game kind of cards like Chandra or Vidalcan Shackles or Sword of Feast and Famine or maybe a Blood Moon or a Magus in the Moon. And you can always discard ones that aren't particularly useful to you. So it's an interesting deck. It looks pretty bad on paper, but it performs pretty well. And one important thing to notice about Ludevic is that his ability is somewhat symmetrical. Your opponent can draw cards if they take damage on their own turn. So if they have a Pain Land or an Ancient Tomb, or they play like a black card draw spell that does damage to them, they can draw another card. Or if you use, let's see, there's like Fire Slinger or something like that. If you use that on their turn, they will draw a card from it if you have a Ludevic out. So you got to be careful about that. You want to use it on your turn. It should be an interesting deck to play. Let's give it a shot. Alright, we got match one. We are on the play. Hand looks fine. Playing against Tymna and Kraum. I think we could taxi and probe him. Alright, that's actually not a great hand. I mean, there's a couple creatures there and a Force Spike. But, let's go ahead and play the Fumarole. So he drew that. He does have a Force Spike. Do we want to just play around it or draw it out? I don't know. We don't get anything in play either way. I think it's better to keep the cards in our hands. Let's play around it. We know his exact hand right now. He's got 5 lands in hand. Or 5 lands plus this one. I guess he can Tide Hollow and take our Jace from us. Merfolk Looter is a little redundant, but it's not as good as a Jace. Alright. I guess he can't, because he played an island. That's strange. Let's go ahead and Jace, I think. I mean, he could have drawn a kill spell or counter spell, but we don't win by doing nothing. Alright, hits the board. Most of his removal spells are in black and red anyways. So let's see what's... So, Isolated Chapel. He now has 2 unknowns in his hand. Yep. Thought that was coming. I'd like to draw a land so they can play this Trophy Mage. Just mostly as a blocker. So he can't Tymna. I guess he could take the Trophy Mage. I don't know what he wants to take here. He takes Merfolk Looter. Okay. Let's draw first. We draw the Vidalcan Shackles. That's hilarious. We don't have any islands yet. Let's go ahead and play the Trophy Mage. Get the Sword of Feast and Famine. Some nice card advantage there. I will almost certainly block the Tide Hollow Sculler. All right. Do I want to block? I think I do. Tapping out for a Merfolk Looter. Well, actually, we can't really tap out for it, can we? Well, we can. Alright, we drew an island. And then, I don't know what to get rid of. Phyrexian Revoker is good. Like, these are all really good cards. I think the Razorfin Hunter is the worst. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's play that. And let's play the Merfolk Looter. This is us keep drawing cards so that we can hit lands like every turn so that the Winter Orb doesn't matter as much. Our Jace flips next turn if he doesn't kill it. Alright, we knew he had a 5th land, so we've seen all of his lands. There's still a Spiketail Hatchling and a Force Spike that we know about. Let's go Island. A Jit, huh? Wow. Let's draw. And discard Man, it's just an embarrassment of riches here. I guess the Revoker. And then there's nothing really to flash back. We could flash back a Taxium Probe to draw a card. Do we just attack here instead of drawing? No, it's got to be right to loot, right? It's almost always right to loot. We could probably loot on his turn. Wow. He's got 2 islands, but still, I gotta imagine that the Blood Moon's pretty good. Magus of the Moon it is. I don't know what to get rid of. I need this land. There's no doubt about that. I kind of need the Logic Knot. Jit does the least, but it's the least expensive. That's really hard here. Just, man. Let's get rid of the Magus of the Moon. I don't like it. But I think it's correct. If he plays Kraum here, we can counter it. And we can play around Force Spike if he plays another land. Do we want to? We can play the sword. I mean, it kind of puts us both in the same boat. I think countering this is right. We only need 2. Alright, so the Force Spike is out of his hand. And it's going to get harder for him to hit lands every turn than it is for us. Do we want to flashback a Taxium Probe? It's free? I think it's probably pretty safe. Oh, wow. Okay, well, he's got lands for days. Oh, that's interesting. We can just get rid of it. This is nuts. Like, our hands are out of control. I think I like the Winter Orb, actually. What do we get rid of? We can always flash back the Biforce. Yeah, he's drawn a lot of lands. I mean, mean, it's almost good for him here. I think we go for the jet here. It's just so bad for him. Do you have a hard counter? Mana Leak, okay. Nope, can't do anything about that. Let's draw a card. Blood Moon doesn't do a lot here. And that's +1 on nothing. And say go. We've already played around the 4 spike. You can play a Spike Tail here, which means we need to draw a land to play around it. Alright, there's a Caves. Probably if Plains was, or an island was right there. I think we have to go for it. Or do we want a Dak Faden? Nah. Let's go for the sword. So good. He can't draw counter spells forever. We probably should be drawing on his end step. We're not doing anything with what we're drawing here. Still has a Watery Grave. 4 mana. He draws something good. Drew 11 lands from 17 cards. Alright, he drew a Scalding Tarn. Alright. Yeah, I think he has to play the Spiketail Hatchling here. Yeah. Let's get rid of that, I think. Yeah. Well, we didn't draw a land. Missed another land. I don't think we want a Mystical Tutor. It's just so mana intensive. Let's tick up on that thing. So we see that. So we just know about a Watery Grave. Can't do damage with the Spiketail Hatchling. Alright. This is the Water Grave. Untapped. Alright. So we know his hand. Or we don't know any of his hand. Can we draw a land? Alright, that's pretty good. I think we Red Elemental Blast this thing. He could have a removal spell for a Merfolk Looter. I still think this is fine. Alright, I'm not going to pay for that. Alright, that's a good sign. Oh, I think that just opened up the game for us. Let's play Dak Faden first. I actually want the Vidalcan Shackles to resolve. And let's draw. Should we get rid of this Jace? Alright, doesn't matter. Gotta be a sport about it. It was unfortunate that he just drew lands and lands and lands. It definitely helped him against the Winter Orb, but it hurt him against what we were doing because we were able to, you know. I think playing the Winter Orb against looters is pretty risky because of what I said before, that we have a greater chance. Like, we can filter our draws, and he had almost nothing on the board when he played the Winter Orb. He was just trying to slow us down, but he didn't have anything proactive going on. So that makes the Winter Orb quite a bit more risky than if you've actually got something on the board that you're doing proactively. Alright, we got match 2. We are on the draw. We are playing against the same opponent. Let's see how this goes. Our hand isn't great, but I think it's capable. We're on the draw. All right. I don't know if I want to daze anything. Even like Mesmeric Fiend or something like that. I think I just let it happen. Okay, you can't cast a Mesmeric Fiend or a Stoneforge Mystic. Alright. We have the Dak Faden. It looks like he's going to get a draw card from Tymna. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. It's kind of good for us, though. Well, I guess we could block with Mutavault and not play the sword. Or the Jit. There's not really any reason to play the Jit. Although I do want him to tap out. Alright, he's Vampiric Tutoring. So I don't know if he's missing a land or if he's trying to get something special. Ancient Tomb. Looks like he might have vampire tutored for the ancient tomb. My guess. I'm not sure what's going on here. All right. Okay. I forget that that's how that works. We'll just take it. He can attack Dak Faden if he wants. Looks like he wants. It's almost certainly correct. I think we go straight for the blood moon, the maggots of the moon. Well, that sucks. Okay. He does have an untapped. He can go get a white or a blue mana. He can also just bounce this. Alright, he doesn't bounce it. Or he doesn't counter it. Alright. He does bounce it. I'd like to hit a red land so they can Chandra. He's got a lot of mana going here. Alright, well that's not good for Chandra. This Daze is probably dead by now too. Everything we have requires red. I think we just go at him with the Mutavault equipped. Could have a removal spell. I'm guessing he expected us to replay the Magus of the Moon. Man, he's making this tense. Does it work? Does it not work? Down to 3 cards. It looks like we're going to combat damage. Whew. Nice. Looks like he might have missed the Mutavault there. It's funny that this is his Jit. I think that was definitely worth a deck fading. It saved us 1 point of life, too. But Jit's such a mirror breaker in creature matches. Alright, doesn't look like he's crumbing us. Not worried about 1 point of damage. Alright, let's get Taxing Probe. Fire Covenant, Force Spike, Mana Leak, Memory Lapse. Alright. We draw a Fire Slinger. He can Memory Lapse to Magus of the Moon. With this 1 red mana, like, we can't do anything. So if I play Magus of the Moon before combat, he can, and I Mutavault. Oh, I can't really equip Mutavault, and so we probably don't care about Mutavault. I don't really want to get Magus of the Moon Memory Lapsed. I'd rather get Fiery Covenant. I don't think I can get away with doing nothing here, though. Alright, we're playing this. And we have to deal with the Memory Lapse at some point or another. What is this? Alright, so he goes for the Memory Lapse. We say okay. Guess that means we can still do it next turn. Not sure what all the mana tapping was about. What'd you draw here? Are you just playing Kraum? I don't think you can afford to. Well, you probably can afford to play Kraum. Well, that's a good draw. I mean, I have my own, but he can't play Fire Covenant now. We know his full hand. Alright. We can play around Mana Leak and Force Spike. Alright, so he needs a black mana, a basic forest, or basic swamp, in order to ever be able to cast Fire Covenant. Or anything, really. Now he can't Fire Covenant it. I don't think it's too risky to do this when his mana is completely cut off. I should have left 2 islands open before I cast the, or when I was casting the sword. But it didn't end up biting me, but doesn't mean you shouldn't still play correct. Alright, that's a mountain. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. That's pretty brutal. Got match 3. We are on the draw. 1 lander here. I think we mulligan. This is fine. We're playing against Tymna and Kraum. Different player this turn. I don't think I want this land. I don't think I need it. Alright. So he knows. Alright. It's a really good creature. We drew another land anyways. Human? Human. Okay. Alright, well that's interesting. Well, I think this time we're actually already on the back foot. Drawing 2 lands. Like, I didn't even want a 4th land right away. 2 lands in a row. I mean, I'm glad we bottomed, otherwise we would have drawn 3 lands in a row. But he's going to play Tymna and draw a card. That's some strange mana. Yeah, okay. You need white for that one. Or black's fine. Yep, there's Tymna. At least we can discard. Tymna's so good. Can discard some of these lands. Let's go for Scalding Tarn. We'll put some more lands in our graveyard. I think we need this Jit in play. If he destroys it, that's super unfortunate for him. Well, actually, we don't have anything to do with the Jit. Because this can't actually do damage. Wow, we're way on the back foot here. And he's got a pain land, so just playing Ludevic blind isn't a very good idea. Alright. Just play a stupid Curse Catcher. Which actually gets rid of our ability to Force of Will. Alright. So we can put 1 card in the graveyard. Still doesn't flip Jace. Oh man, this is bad. I guess we get rid of the Force of Will. We can start eating his lands, but what does that do? Like, we're too far behind to be eating lands. Maybe I should have kept the Force of Will so that I could sword. And then have a Force of Will up for Kraum, which is almost certainly coming. We can attack, play Ludevic, probably get it countered. If it doesn't get countered, he gets to draw 2 spells next turn. So that's not great because he can always go over us with the hope. We're not blocking with this thing. Do we just take damage from a Kraum? We're at 20? I don't think so. What are you casting here? I don't actually care that much about that. Alright, he's not Krauming. It's actually a bad sign. I think we have to try the Jit. Alright. We can't even counter that. This is so over. He just had a really incredible hand. We couldn't stop the Tymna avalanche. So let's be real, that's what it is. So he was able to draw into better and better cards. It's kind of like what we're trying to do. Alright, we're moving on. Alright, we got match 4. We are on the draw. We're playing against Saskia. His hand isn't great. We're on the draw. I don't think we can mulligan this. There's a high number of 1-drops in our deck. Alright, Mother of Runes. Alright, Blood Moon's pretty good. Let's play some fetch lands so we can filter some lands out of our library. Wouldn't mind an Ancient Tomb or something, though. Greensun Zenith for 1. Deathrite Shaman? Deathrite Shaman would make me regret this Scalding Tarn. Oh, Birds of Paradise. Okay, that's still not great for the Blood Moon plan. My god, I could have spell pierced it. I should have spell pierced it. That's actually really critical. Because now we can play Saskia. Alright, can't do anything about that. So we can take the Spell Pierce that we should have played last turn. I just didn't expect him to play a spell that we could have Spell Pierced, and I didn't think about it. And I really, I mean, because he could have played um, Sylvan Library, and I definitely would have wanted to spell pierce that too. At least he's not casting Saskia. Alright, Flame Slash is really good. I think we need to put this Blood Moon down first, though. Give him one turn to potentially deal with it. And then we Flame Slash the Birds of Paradise. Alright, Thoughtseize. Actually gets rid of the Flame Slash. I mean, you have to get rid of the Flame Slash. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but it's really the best card in my hand. The other cards are really good. I guess we can just bounce the Birds of Paradise. I think we will do that, actually. No, he can protect... Oh, he can protect it either way. Alright, he takes Venser. Oh my god. He can protect one of them. Do we do that? I think we do that. Four damage to him, one to each creature. Yeah, he needed to protect the bird. Which we can then Flame Slash next turn if he doesn't hopefully draw an answer to this Blood Moon. Gold spells are not castable. Alright, Chain Lightning can go to the face. So let's Flame Slash this. Alright, and we won. Alright, that would have been a lot easier if we had Spell Pierced him. We worked around our mistake. But, Blood Moon is nuts. Alright, we got match 5. We are on the draw. This is a fine enough hand. What are we're playing just against Sidisi, so this Blood Moon isn't going to do a ton. Alright. We don't have a lot of interference for what Sidisi's planning on doing. I think we keep it anyways. Lands and spells. It's hard to just get rid of that. Expedition map. Okay. Alright, that makes it harder to counter Sidisi. Sword's not too bad. Alright. Probably Chandra. As I said, the Blood Moon does nothing. He could get rid of the Sword of Feast and Famine. Oh, he got rid of the Misdirection. Alright. Could have drawn a blue card. Let's attack first. I don't know if we're going to be sacking that. It's interesting. Let's attack first. We can keep Ludevic alive by sacking this. Do we care? Also keeps him from, like, going off. He can't really go off. Let's just play Ludevic and see if he's got a removal spell. He probably does, but it's fine. I don't want to get rid of... Okay, it goes on the stack. And it looks like he's just going to go for the Expedition map play. I guess he could technically go off if he gets an Ancient Tomb, and he already has. He hasn't tutored for anything. So he'd have to have already drawn the Buried Alive, a 1-of in his deck. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. All right. Alright, that doesn't do anything. I guess he can play Sidisi. Maybe that was a bit greedy. Yeah, there's the Buried Alive. That's a nothing spell. All right. So, I guess the only thing we really can do is play this Blood Moon and then play the Mog Fanatic and then hope that he can't go off. We're probably dead. But this at least stops the Ancient Tomb. I mean, there's nothing else we can do. If we had drawn any disruption, he probably would have gotten rid of it. So if he's got a 3-mana resurrection spell, he can't play it. Looks like we're dead. Yep. Good game. I'm not going to make him do it. There wasn't any disruption. We just... I maybe could have waited a turn on the Hope of Gurupur. It would have drawn us an extra card, which would have been an island. Yeah. Memory lapse eventually. But I don't think there's anything we could have done there. Alright, so we had Blood Moon and Magus of the Moon be pretty good for us a couple of times there. We had 3 matches against Tymna and Kraum, and we won 2. I think that's, I think it's probably pretty close to a 50-50 split on those. Might actually favor Tymna and Kraum, because Tymna's so good. It's really draw dependent. They're almost like a mirror match, but Tymna's got more colors, so there can be less consistency. And then, as you saw, Magus of the Moon just shut him down in match 2. And then we had Magus of the Moon against Saskia. That just shut that deck down too. So that was pretty awesome. And then Sidisi, there are some things we could do about that. We just didn't draw into any of them. I'm not sure if I should have mulliganed. As I said, if we had any disruption, he would have just forced it to discard it. So we were relying on the top of our deck to get us those pieces that we needed, and we just didn't draw any. I maybe could have stalled for another turn, but then we still would have lost. So it's still a fun deck. It's a lot of fun. We went 3-1, which is decent. And I'll go ahead and or 3-2, and I'll go ahead and open up this treasure chest. And we hit Fracturing Gusts. I have been wanting that card for a long time, but it has been too expensive for what it is. So that's pretty cool. And a couple other cards. But Fracturing Gusts is good in multiplayer Commander. So, alright guys. You guys have a good night.